Hey, what is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another episode of Break the Chains Media. Today is Wednesday. We are Change Wednesday, in fact. April 15th, 2026. It's the tax man's day. It's tax day, ladies and gentlemen. Did you pay your taxes? Did you pay your money to the NGOs? Did you pay your money to the secret elites? Did you pay all your money to those railroads to nowhere out in California? Because, if you didn't, the tax man gonna be knocking. He gonna be coming. So today is today's tax day, but that's neither here nor there because we're gonna get into all kinds of crazy and wild things that we need to catch up on here in the Mile High state of Colorado on Break the Chains Media. Candace Owens came out yesterday and just did an absolute hit job, a hit piece, if you will, against Victor Marx. There's all of this allegations of him and his ministry and his connections with TPUSA. I mean, it is par for the course for Candace to conflate and extrapolate and tie all these things together and make a whole hullabaloo out of everything. And now, to be fair, there are some questionable things that should be addressed, that should be discussed, even from a nonpartisan viewpoint, coming in, from the outside looking in, seeing Victor Marx's campaign and hearing all of this flack and hearing all this rhetoric and just the way that the Marx campaign basically just deflects and ignores it. Very strange behavior, but we are going to get into all of that, all the allegations, and do a little breakdown, do a little review of Candace Owens' episode from yesterday. I will not be playing all of it. I'll just be playing little excerpts, doing my takes, take my 2 cents, my little bit of advice for everyone in Colorado. I don't watch Candace. I don't like Candace. I think she is a modern day grifter, shill, the millennials Oprah, as it were. I think that it's just a lot of sensationalism and a lot of this, all trying to encapsulate the low information women, the women demographic, and use this sensationalist angle, this sensationalist lensing to poison the well. That's my opinion. But we are going to get into that. We're also going to talk about just the general energy moving into the primaries, moving into the election here coming up in June in Colorado. We're going to go over the Victor Marx campaign, the Scott Bottoms campaign, Barb Kirkmeyer's campaign, and to what it is worth, and what I think most people are failing to really acknowledge is the Greg Lopez campaign. And if you don't know who Greg Lopez is here in Colorado, well, you might be living under a rock, because Greg Lopez has been a very vocal and a very long-stood politician here in Colorado. And he actually, I think Greg Lopez is going to be a bigger issue than anyone's stirring the pot about Victor Marx. I think that there's going to be a lot more that comes down the line after primaries. So all of this fighting and all of this, partisan shill posting is really going to come out to be a whole lot of nothing if Greg Lopez remains in the race. So we will get into all of that. But if this is the first time joining Break the Chains Media, smash that thumbs up button. Be a part of the Chain Breakers here in the Mile High news media sector, right? We gotta cut through the noise and focus on the signal. We gotta be the change you want to see in the world. So if you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram, follow me on X, follow me on Facebook, YouTube, all of the things, all of the places. Check out breakthechains.media. That is the website. That is the landing page. Come over here in the top right corner, click on Realm Walker Hot Sauce, and support the channel by picking up a bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Hand-made, home-bottled, here in the Mile High City by yours truly. I grow the peppers myself. I bottle them just for you. All of the flavors are based in Norse mythology. Each flavor is a different realm of Norse mythology, from mild to extreme heat. Come pick up your bottles of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Support the channel. Support the work I do. Beautiful peppers, all bottled here for you. And let me tell you, folks, these sauces They ain't no joke. They are some of the best sauces you'll ever have. And I'm not just saying that. That's coming from many different people. And I just I pour my heart into this sauce. And I want you to try it. I want you to taste it, be a part of it. So, reach out to Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram or Break the Chains Media, any of the socials. Say, hey, I want to support your work. I want to pick up a bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. And, for what it's worth, I do have some of these Mile High themed pins. If you want to help me out as well, pick up a bottle of hot sauce or grab a pin and support my work. But that's enough. That's enough blasting about it. But yes, let's check out the chat. What are we doing on? Hey, what is going on, Free State, Colorado? Thanks for being here. Thanks for holding it down on YouTube. Appreciate you being here. Greg Lopez should drop out from Free State, Colorado. We will get into that. I do think that this is not the election for spoiler candidates. This is not the election to skew the votes a few percentage points, whether it be 2, 5, 10%, because it's a no-holds-barred contest. Anyone can win the governor's race here in Colorado, so the competition is extremely fierce. And if you think that there's not enough governors running, I do think that there is one person in particular that could single-handedly win the governor's race without any question, because this person doesn't make any concessions, doesn't make any, he's got the best deals, and it's going to be Dealin' Doug. Dealin' Doug for Colorado governor. I post this in jest. I kind of make light of this, but for all my Colorado natives, you know him, you love him. Dealin' Doug. Nobody beats a Dealin' Doug deal. Nobody, right? But I post this just because of the situation that we're up against here, folks. It is very dire, and we need some unity, and we need some brevity. We need to kind of laugh about it, right? So I vote for Dealin' Doug. I say this jokingly, but y'all know him. But I think we need to just rally around someone and really just cut to the meat and potatoes of what's really going on here in Colorado. Got some other posts here. This is my tax post for the day. 100% of all the taxes you paid this year, or even your entire life, has gone to fraudulent NGOs stealing it. Now think about how you're struggling and let that sink in. There's a lot of, maybe not 100%, but a lot of our money's gone to corrupt individuals, gone to corrupt institutions. We saw it in Minnesota. We're seeing it out here with homelessness, with these homeless NGOs and these illegal immigrant NGOs. So corruption runs rampant across the country, and our tax dollars are paying for it. Got some more stuff here about from Big Timber Lodge, talking about red states doing their own thing, blue states aligning to a civil war, and this is what the Democrats' plan are. And I do lend some credence to that situation, folks. But now we are going to be getting into it here, because this is what's really cooking. From Mark Cook here. I got a couple posts from Patriot Mark Cook on X. Shout out Mark Cook. He's doing a great job for election integrity. But we're going to get into it, folks. We're cutting to the chase right here, right now. Smash that thumbs up button. Share this video. Let's get some people in the stream. I know it's kind of strange at Rumble. I don't really have that many people watching on Rumble, but I mean, it is what it is. But normally I have a little bit more, but we're crushing it. We're still having a good time on YouTube and on X. Either way, folks, this is where we are right now. This is where it is. Victor Marx is the, quote, "You have to vote for me to see who I am" candidate for Colorado governor. He just declined yet another debate, while other candidates gladly show up and meet other voters. He won't face the people before the primary. Why should they trust you after? Those that are fake do not debate. Do not ignore the signs, people. Make sure everyone has their eyes wide open. He also refused to call Mark about anything regarding how elections are being manipulated in Colorado, and had to learn about what really happened to real Tina Peters, and then he lied about it, folks. I know everybody's going to have their own opinion on Victor Marx, Scott Bottoms, and Barbara Kirkmeyer, and everyone. I get it. It's contested, and everyone is entitled to their own opinions. Understand this. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. But I'm just showing what is the social media, showing what everyone is conversating about, and you can't deny some of these things that come up to question, right? So just recently, this is from Douglas County Citizenry. This is posted. So you're gonna have Scott Bottoms there. You're gonna have Kirkmeyer there. You're gonna have Greg Lopez there, being moderated by two individuals. But Victor Marx has declined to show up for this governor's debate. Now, this isn't an official governor's debate. It's not like going to be televised. It's going to be like in a little local area. But the fact is that in Douglas County, they're having a debate here. In Douglas County, they're having a debate for Republican governors. Actually, it's not even a Republican debate. Greg Lopez is there. So Douglas County is holding a debate for various governor candidates here in Colorado. That's going to have Scott Bottoms, Barb Kirkmeyer, Greg Lopez, and Victor Marx has declined to attend. Now, Victor Marx has said that he'll be doing different debates. I can't even talk like Victor Marx. How do you? Because every time I hear Victor Marx talk, it sounds like he has like cotton balls in his mouth. He's got this like weird like. I just ate a really like thick stew and I still haven't swallowed everything in my mouth. Like that's the way he kind of speaks. Very strange. But he's got that deep voice and we're just gonna get it done. I can't really get it. I'm still working. I gotta listen to more how he speaks. Anyways, I sidestep. It is what it is. But fact is that he's not just declined from this governor's debate, but I asked I asked Grok how many different debates, unofficial or not, has Victor Marx declined, backed out of, or no showed at. And it gathered, it says he has not showed up for at least 5 to 6 documented gubernatorial candidate forums, often referred to interchangeably with debates. But Victor Marx has decidedly called them political theater, sideshows, or distracting from the main goal of winning, right? Events that devolve into personal attacks or grievance-driven theatrics. So Victor Marx has declined several different county and statewide debates back in October, in December, Mesa County Forum, late January and February, in Parker Conservatives. I think he even backed out of a TP USA event as well, even though we're going to get into it in a minute where he talks about his intimate connections with Turning Point USA, with Charlie Kirk. So, yeah, right here. So in Mesa County Forum, late 2025, early 2026, Mesa County GOP, Republican Women, and TP USA. No response to the invitation. Organizers publicly stated they did not know why he wasn't attending and suggested he contacted campaign directly. We will get into the sources and the websites here in just a moment, but I just wanted to bring it up and let you know that there has been many instances of having a public forum, having an open debate, and Victor Marx declining. With that being said, we are going to be backing out, and we're actually now going to be getting into the meat and potatoes of today's live stream. So smash that thumbs up button, share this on Rumble, YouTube, X. You get it out there to all the people because this is going to get spicy here in just a minute. I do have hers truly, the one and only. You know her, you love her. Maybe not so much because I personally can't stand her. I think Candace Owens is I wouldn't call her a honeypot. I wouldn't call her a psyop. I wouldn't call her a shill. She's kind of an amalgamation of several different things because she does bring up, she does source various facts. She also conflates a lot of disinformation, misinformation. She throws red meat to the people that want to hear it, but then she doesn't really send the message home. And it really pissed me off, all of this attacking and of her attacking Erica Kirk and the TPUSA campaign and the Egyptian planes and all this weird stuff, right? And like I said earlier, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But when you start making insinuations and conflating a larger conspiracy and an agenda to boost your numbers, to make it, this is all very sensationalist, clickbait, drama, Gossip Girls kind of, sitting over the fireplace and spilling the tea kind of vibes, right? And I'd like to try to stay closer to reality, closer to the facts, just trying to bring up evidence, document these things, right? But like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But we are going to do a little bit of a breakdown. I've got a couple different timestamps that I wanted to pull up with you all. But I want to be very clear that I am not supporting any of what she's saying. I am merely just reporting on the topic. Because now that Candace Owens has picked this up, we are now going to see a tidal wave of low information individuals using her live stream, using her episode regarding Victor Marx as their sole driving reason as to why they made the decisions that they did in the first place, right? Ohana first says, agreed, but she also is someone I'd want as my friend if my death was questionable. I mean, she definitely brings up a lot of interesting information, that's for sure. That is for sure. And, we can get into her weird, strange two-week trial of meeting her, like Duke royalty British husband. We could talk about that weird circumstance. We could talk about the fact that her own security team was in the same security, was associated with the same FBI building that she was associated with Charlie Kirk and his security team. So, there's a lot of strange connections all around, and people don't get put in these positions. People don't get put on the front page of YouTube. People don't become this big of an influencer if they don't have backdoor assets or ties or connections to a larger narrative. And that's all I'm going to say about that, right? You guys all can make your own decisions regarding that. But for what it's worth, it's going to be interesting going into our governor's race here in Colorado now that there is a nationally, arguably internationally known brand name talking about Victor Marx and who he really is. So let's take a quick look into this, and I encourage everyone, watch this entire thing in its full length on your own time, and just kind of see what you think of it as well. We're going to listen to a couple clips here, and then we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown analysis. So let's take a listen.
With Turning Point Faith, he also happens to be a Marine veteran. He is currently, you should know, running for governor of Colorado. And he chose to announce his intention to run for governor of Colorado at a Charlie Kirk memorial event in Denver on September 14th, just a couple of days after Charlie was assassinated. He said that he felt in that moment, given the weight of the assassination, that God was calling him to run. Okay. How else is he tied to Turning Point? Well, he teaches an online educational course for Turning Point Faith entitled Freedom from Pornography. He also claims his 20-year-old son was at one point Charlie Kirk's assistant who, quote, spent much time with Erica and their first baby girl, end quote. Now, we've been unable to confirm that he was Charlie's assistant. I certainly don't remember him being Charlie's assistant, but we'll take Victor Marx's word for it.
And that is just one of the clips, but that is kind of the theme of this entire episode of Candace, is that she's doing a lot of reading, and I've never watched Candace's show at all. Like, I've only seen little clips of it, this, that, here and there. But watching this entire episode, can I just say that she does a terrible job reading off of a teleprompter? Well, she does a very good job doing it terribly. How about that? Because I can tell that everything she's reading is literally telepromptered off to the side over here, and she's just reading it verbatim, word for word. And actually, It's not even word for word because she stumbles over some of the words and reads them incorrectly anyways. So it's not even unscripted. Like right now, what you're witnessing in real time, this here, all unscripted. It's just coming off the top of my head, which is why I ramble sometimes, which is why I stammer over my words, which is why sometimes I can't quite get my thoughts out, because it's all authentic, folks. I'm authentic. I'm real as it gets. That's all you're getting from me. Father Lionheart says, dude is pathological, and so is she. Perfect match. You know what? I like where your head's at. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that was the first clip. I do want to pull up to, let's see. And like I said, we can watch this whole thing. We can watch different parts of it, but I wanted just to show you a little bit more here. Let's keep going.
As Victor Marx did, and put some, impassioned music behind it. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that beautiful hug captured and shared between Erica Kirk and Eileen Marx. Take a look.
Is what it means to be held, how it feels.
Yeah.
It says the moment that Erica Kirk sees Eileen for the first time after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay. If you're interested in that music, that song was called Held by Natalie Grant. Beautiful, just beautiful. Could you imagine it, though? Could you imagine that, letting people capture that? None of this is normal. This was a grief marketing campaign, but I digress because first I should point out, you may have also noted that Erica has her phone in her hand, the one that she allegedly did not turn on for weeks after Charlie died. But I digress again because I'm going to show you another photo this time of Erica being comforted by her dear friend Victor Marx in the building.
Yeah, so this right here. So I wanted to pause right here on this because I truly believe that Victor Marx, whatever other stories, whatever other allegations, whether it be, we're going to get into the gun running, we're going to get into the Haiti operations, we're going to get into the ministry operations out there, we're going to get into the folding AR stuff, all of that is coming. But this right here, to me, is just perfect campaign marketing PR, right? This is what you want to see when you're trying to get into a position of power, especially riding the coattails of a global assassination of a political figure that is Charlie Kirk, right? This, and there's other versions of this photo too. I guess it was like Photoshop with the people in the background taken out too. But I just think it's very strange to see this energy just appear out of nowhere post Kirk, and he announces at the Brave Church. We all know about this, and folks, this is the big thing. This is a big takeaway that I wanted to get into, is the fact that a lot of this energy is coming out from. It came out of right after riding the coattails of Charlie Kirk, his assassination and his death. Victor Marx has been a resident of Colorado for a long time, allegedly, and he's also been involved with, the human trafficking, the ministry thing, for many, many years. But he's completely stayed out of politics this entire time, couldn't do anything about it. This, no way around it. And then all of a sudden, he shows up on the scene and runs for governor. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people saw the death of Charlie Kirk as a literal turning point to their political activation. So a lot of people said, I'm jumping in. I'm making this happen because that's beyond the pale. This is evil. We're fighting against evil demons, right? Sure. I'll let you have that. But Marx could easily run for, he could have ran for many different things. The fact that he wants to run for governor right out the gates, to me, is questionable. But let's continue further. I've got several different clips I want to get into in this. Where are we at? 12. Let's go.
Who would go on to become an attorney, also pled guilty as the co-conspirator in that drug trafficking ring.
That was
He took a plea deal,
brother.
So he only served a year and a day in exchange for testifying against his stepfather, Glois. What about his biological dad? Victor Marx's biological dad was apparently cut from the same cloth. His name was Karl Marx. Okay? And he was a pimp, a drug dealer, and also a world-famous martial arts expert.
Not to be misconstrued with the Karl Marx, right? Obviously, it's a very unfortunate name, But I just wanted to let you, kind of dabble in. But she kind of talks about his past, his upbringing, his childhood, and all of this is publicly available, right? All of this is nothing that we haven't heard before. And I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of more of the Candace angle, because this is what it really comes down to. Let me see here if I can find it right here-ish. Because when I sat down and watched this, I was anticipating some sort of bombshell, some sort of breaking information from Owens, but alas, I was sorely disappointed, because it came to find out that there was nothing really of merit outside of, Candace's own spin, right? So let's take a look here.
So the fact that he got his story started with Faith with Calvary Chapel, this makes sense to me. Now, it wasn't all peaches, I'll say that. In 2023, there are so many stories I could tell you, but I'm just trying to limit some of them. In 2003, Eileen, his wife's brother, Kenneth, for some reason, his brother-in-law tried to shoot him on his own property.
Story we've already heard.
Fortunately, Victor made it out okay, but Eileen's brother would go on to kill his own girlfriend, for which I believe he is currently awaiting trial.
Yep. Nothing we haven't known.
A lot going on in this family. So how is Victor as a husband and a father, you might be wondering? Well, he openly admits that he punches holes in the walls of his house about once a year, and he tells his wives and his kids not to cover it up so that people can see what he's done when they come over. He also openly states that he himself struggles with suicidal and homicidal tendencies.
Okay, listen, I got to stop it here, because everything. Actually, I'm going to go back over here. Everything that Candace Owens is listing right now is readily available, and to Victor's credit, he admits to this stuff. This is stuff that's come out of Victor's mouth himself, okay? And he talks about his abuse, it talks about his upbringing, talks about his suicidal tendencies. He's not a perfect man, right? And I'm trying to be as objective as I can, because this to me just smells of shilling hit piece, right? From Candace. And I keep looking over here, because this is where my notes are. Okay, so if I keep turning, that's why. But I did want to specifically play this, because this is what it comes down into: the folding AR and the individual that was related to the folding AR and the quote unquote gun running in Haiti. So let's keep going.
Stepdaddy was allegedly interested in trafficking. Standard-sized backpack within my patent. Corby Hall and the statements.
Corby Hall.
So you know exactly who he is.
Corby Hall.
And it starts with I, Corby Hall, am the inventor, the founder, and the sole owner of Fold AR, a uniquely positioned firearms development company that specializes in producing the most compact rifles that have ever been created. By way of my patented technology, Fold AR manufactures and sells full capability rifles that remain fully assembled.
Okay, so you can do the breakdown of the Fold AR. She talks about the Fold AR, but she continues to go on, and she continues to discuss the Corby Hall's connection with Victor Marx, them going down to Haiti, Victor Marx wanting to get a large shipment of guns into Haiti to defend against ministries, right?
The factual events regarding Victor Marx. Again, Erica's dear friend, right? Somebody you want to see immediately after at your home after Charlie Kirk's been assassinated. I would say that's a dear friend. He writes that on or about December 1st, 2023, at the request of Victor Marx, Melody, my then girlfriend, who earned her place as COO of Fold AR, and myself drove from Texas to Colorado Springs to provide a demo of the Fold AR to Mr. Marx. Melody had followed Mr. Marx on social media for many years and noted that he was seeking the ultimate compact weapons system to use on quote-unquote high-risk missions. During our demo at his home base gun range, Mr. Marx approached me separately and asked if I would make a signature series rifle for him. He went on to tell me that he was exploring this as well with other much larger manufacturers, but that the Fold AR is, quote, the only one that makes sense. After the demo, Mr. and Mrs. Marx invited Melody and I into their house, and he proclaimed that he felt the hand of God on us and stated that he was told by God that an abundance was headed our way. During the living room meeting, Mrs. Marx identified a very unique connection between Melody and I, and she asked why we were not married.
Okay, sorry. I have to stop because I literally cannot hear her voice any longer. It really is painful. But she continues to blab on about Corby Hall's connection with Victor Marx, them going down to Haiti, and there's a promo picture here. Where is it at? I have to find it. Maybe not. Did you? By the way, did you like my? Here it is. Yeah. So this was Victor Marx promoing with the Fold AR, and this whole thing ties into the missing gun. There was allegedly a gun that was the ATF traced regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay. Yes. Seized pants. I see you there. It's still wild that his governor run was announced to the entire congregation contact list of Brave Church on quote unquote accident. Yeah, I do think that's definitely a campaign misstep if you're going to use a moment of congregational mourning for an assassination of Charlie Kirk, for an international loss of life, and him to use the Brave Church congregation's contact list as a launching pad for his political campaign. That is very strange, right? Very strange indeed. So with that being said, she then connects Victor Marx and this movement that they were doing, this ministry service that they were going to be doing down in Haiti. So let's take a listen to see regarding the Haiti information.
Fold AR rifle with him. Now, I'll have you know that Victor Marx does make it to Haiti. Pause here so you can see a news clip. This meeting, going out to the orphanages, he was going to blow the head off of Jimmy, but this amazing thing happened. He actually was able to evangelize. It was an opportunity to evangelize some of these gangsters. Take a listen to this news clip on CBN News.
The FAA has banned U.S. flights to Haiti after 3 planes were hit by gunfire over Port-au-Prince this week. At the center of the chaos in Haiti's capital is the leader of a deadly group of gangs. After a visit from an American missionary, that gang leader is now pledging to protect orphanages and Christian workers. CBN's Chuck Holton has this exclusive report.
Port-au-Prince feels like a war zone. Gangs control the majority of the city and want more. Even so, missionary Victor Marx is still investing in ways to ease the suffering.
The reason I'm here in Haiti doing all this high-risk missionary stuff is a while back we responded to the urgent request of an orphanage that was under imminent threat of attack by many considered the most notorious gang in Haiti, the Moazi 400.
All right, so he continues to go on regarding his efforts in Haiti, and she continues to spiral regarding his efforts being compromised or working with government assets and the gun, right, folks? So let me see here. She then talks about the gun that ATF traced was regarding with the Fold AR, and I'm gonna ease our suffering because. If you want to watch the rest of Candace Owens, you're here to listen to me and my opinion. And I watched what Candace Owens had to say, and let me tell you, folks, what she did and how she presented all this information is nothing different than any Colorado Politico that's that understands what's happening, that's heard these stories of Victor Marx, that's heard this institution, this pulpited stuff from the website Victor Marx for Colorado. This is not a campaign site. This is a spoof campaign site to show all of the negative press and all the bad information and all the smears that Victor Marx, all of his background, right? And I encourage everyone to look into this and honestly do your own research. I know you hear it way too much, right? You hear it way too much, but I also have his official website pulled up. His official website is www.victor2026.com. This is Victor's official website. And, I want to put as much information as I can out there to the public. I'm not trying to bash anyone. I'm not trying to smear anyone. I'm sitting here hearing what Candace is saying, and I'm taking all that in with my own discerning decision making, right? Because I want to see change in Colorado. I want to see something different in Colorado. I do not want to see another corrupt, bought and paid for politician that has a nefarious purpose to their messaging, to their mission. That includes many different gubernatorial candidates, right? There's a lot of people who have ulterior motives to their agenda as to why they would like to run Colorado as governor. Okay? But I just wanted to make it known and make it very apparent that I do not like Candace Owens, and I do not appreciate the putting out the evidence without backing it up. Right? She's basically just reading off of this website. I mean, it takes 5 minutes to look through this website and see all the hit pieces that Marx has to deal with. And maybe this is a reason why he doesn't show up to the debates, because he has a lot of detractors. He has a lot of people attacking him. To that credit, there is validity to what some of the things that they are saying. Why, maybe, and this is just my thought. What if Victor Marx, who, mind you, got second place in the state assembly, right? He got 39% of the vote as opposed to Scott Bottoms' 45. Okay? So I do think it's interesting that Victor Marx was initially running a hybrid campaign here in Colorado. He wanted to petition in all 64 counties and get all these votes in all the different counties. And he wanted to also get the delegates to vote for him. He only, if he were to get the petitioning, he could have done a hybrid campaign where he didn't need to do all of it. He could have got a smaller percentage of delegates with petitioning. But since he got over the 30% threshold, he's guaranteed on the ballot. Now, I think he got like 838 votes or 800 and something votes. And Scott Bottoms got 945. Great. They're both on the ballot. But what it comes back down to is how much money does Victor Marx actually bring in? How much money is he actually running? And where is this money coming from? And what happens to that money if he doesn't make the primary? What happens if Victor Marx doesn't win the gubernatorial candidate for governor in November? Does that money go into his nonprofit? Is this just a big campaign pull to pull in as much money as he can? Or does he really want to fight for Colorado? Is he really someone who's going to stand up there and run Colorado the way a governor needs to run? Because I believe Scott Bottoms is that person. And I'll tell you right now, I as a Colorado delegate voted for Scott Bottoms in the state assembly. That was who I believed, and that is who I voted for, was Scott Bottoms. And you know why? I voted for Scott Bottoms way before Victor Marx even came out on the scene. I didn't even know who Victor Marx was, and my decision was already made for Scott Bottoms. Do you know why? And you know what? I wish I can. You know what? I'm going to do this right now. Let me see if I can do this right now in real time, because it's important to me to show you why I voted for Scott Bottoms even before Victor Marx even existed. Let me find it here, because I do have a video of it. It was probably, oh my gosh, let me see how many was it last year? Last year, maybe longer. Where was it? No. Hold on. Let me see. Where is it? Can I find it? Maybe, possibly. These are the videos. Oh, I see. Hold on. Yep. Was it here? No, sorry. I might be no, I do remember making this video. Hold on. I'm just thumbing through right now. Apologies, folks. I know I'm kind of doing a tangent here, but I want to show you why I want to vote for Scott Bottoms, and why I believe Scott Bottoms is the right choice. Here it is, right here. Yeah, here it is, right here. Okay. So this was me. This was a live stream. Okay, let me pull it up here. Thank you for hanging out with me. But folks, this is July 2nd. Long time ago, folks. We were out here protesting against the child trans surgeries at Colorado Children's Hospital because they continued to do the child surgeries on minors. They were doing genital mutilations regardless of the federal decision, okay? There was about a dozen of us out here, okay? And my decision long ago was made because Scott Bottoms was standing here with us.
Okay. I don't know if you want to.
You want me to go somewhere?
I think this is fine. I know when the cars come, it's hard to hear.
This is in
maybe
real
just
time.
Few steps away. All right. Good to go.
Well, so we're out here, I believe, dealing with the biggest issue of our modern generation, and that is this total attack against parenthood, childhood, this attack against the sovereignty that God created people in His image. And there are some people that just cannot stand the fact that God did that.
So I wanted to pull that up because I wanted to let you know I voted for Scott Bottoms before Victor Marx even existed. Okay, and I see who do we got in the chat? I see Corey Kennedy. Hello, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. That was not what she was. No, she was reading off of Corby Hall's email. She was reading off of Corby Hall's email, which was what this was, right? But all I was saying was that Victor Marx for Colorado is a compilation of multiple different sources of people and sources, including you. I know that have dug up the dirt and that have brought the information to the people so that they can make their decisions for themselves. Okay, Victor Marx for Colorado. If you want to see all of his past history and all of his alleged stories and everything getting shown exactly the kind of information that we need for candidates, because Victor Marx refuses to show up for debates. Okay, that's where I'm coming from. Okay. Free State Colorado says the state legislator campaigns are more important than the governor's race. 100%. Absolutely cannot agree with you anymore. That is what we really need to get into, folks. We're going to be rounding out this live stream. We got about 15 more minutes here on this, but I don't want to keep blabbing on, and I don't want to use this as a attack piece, right? I want to make sure that you guys are aware that I made my decision, and my decision's for Scott Bottoms. And at the end of the day, what it really comes back down to is how much are we really going to have to fight through when it comes to the real races at hand? Because whether it's Scott Bottoms, whether it's Victor Marx, whether it's Barbara Kirkmeyer, okay, because Barbara Kirkmeyer's got a very bad Liberty score. She's the corporate Republican. She is the concessional Republican. She's a very nice lady. I met her. I think she's an honest politician, but she makes concessions where we don't need concessions in this very contested political race. I don't think Barbara Kirkmeyer is the right choice for Colorado because we need someone who is unequivocally conservative and will not bend the knee to the cultural Marxist agenda that is held on for far too long in Colorado. We need someone that will reclaim Colorado, and that is Scott Bottoms, in my opinion. Okay? What else do we have here? We got a couple more people here. I can't get behind someone who is waiting to make a change. Victor Marx lost by support when he passed multiple opportunities to protect children of Colorado. Bottoms fights no matter how the deck is laid out. 100% agree. And that's the other thing, folks, is that Scott Bottoms earlier in this legislative session, Scott Bottoms introduced a child trafficking bill that would raise the felony charges for child traffickers. It's a shoo-in for anyone, for any ministry, for any nonprofit who helps child trafficking, who defends against child trafficking, right? You would expect Victor Marx to at least make a 2-minute testimony in support of this bill. Even though the bill got killed, it got shut down by the leftist legislature, Scott Bottoms introduced it. It could have been a uniting moment for the candidates running for governor in Colorado to stand behind a like-minded position. But no, Victor Marx was a no-show, right? And this is where enter the fray, the three-headed race of the Republican candidates of Scott Bottoms, Barbara Kirkmeyer, and Victor Marx. We got a three-way race here in the primaries in Colorado come June. And out of that, we will see who ends up going into November to determine our governor, the future of the governorship in Colorado. And it really comes back down to, for everyone who knows, for everyone who's aware, Greg Lopez, the mythical legend. He's like a unicorn. Every year he keeps popping his head up. Every 2 to 4 years he shows up and runs for a position here in Colorado. He never rests. And you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that this man is persistent and speaks his piece and makes sure, and he does make sure that his campaign is honest and he stands true to his values, right? He ran in 2022 against Heidi Ganahl, and even I think he's been running for like 20 years on various issues. So you've got Greg Lopez is going to be the independent candidate currently. Okay? And this is where the problems really arise, folks. No matter what person comes out on top for the Republican primaries, we have to deal with Greg Lopez. We've got to deal with arguably a spoiler candidate. Now, there's also conversation that the spoiler candidate might be the best candidate to pick because the Republican Party is so broken and so fractured and so compromised by the establishment. This uniparty captured state of the current Republican Party of Colorado, captured by the Democrats, might be a better decision to go with a third-party candidate to pull Republican votes into a Greg Lopez victory. There's also conversation on that as well. And the jury's still out on that, folks. I'm not 100% sure if that is actually a beneficial angle to take. Why do I have a lens flare? Oh, is that because of the window? Wow, that's the first time I've. Did you see that? That's weird. Anyways, sorry. It's my film brain going at it. I'm gonna read some of your comments here in the chat. Sent Colorado Ballistics was putting my comments in the wrong chat. Otherwise, I really hope the state can get the right person in office. Bottoms would be the best one, especially if a person is avoiding the debate floor. Fully agree with that sentiment, because how are Coloradans supposed to get a feel for their governor if you're not willing to hold debates? And to be honest, I do think that Victor Marx just isn't a good speaker. He has to be told what to say. He can't think off the top of his head. He has to have a little bit more of a scripted take, and that's my opinion. Free State Colorado says, I doubt that a Republican can win a statewide race in Colorado this year. That's a hot take, but I will take that as well, because I don't think that I don't think we have the unity. I don't think we have the builded and branded platform that we need. We don't have a concise platform. We don't have a unified message. We don't have people actually working together. If we're going to be butting heads this hard, this early in the race, meanwhile, Weiser and, whether it's Weiser or Bennett, they've already got multiple millions of dollars in the bank ready to go. I personally think that all of this infighting that we're seeing right now, whether it's Victor Marx's past, Scott Bottoms' lack of charisma. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Scott Bottoms is a great legislative person. He knows what Colorado needs, but he's vanilla ice cream. Okay? I love him. Everyone loves vanilla ice cream, but he doesn't have the X factor that Marx does. So Marx has that charismatic appeal, but he doesn't have the legislative backbone. And arguably, I think he's a compromised, maybe a military or internationally or nationally involved, plant. To what degree, I don't know, but that's my opinion. And then Kirkmeyer, she works with the current bought and paid for corporatists here in Colorado that are going to side with big money. So we don't really have unity in its entirety anyways. And then you got Greg Lopez, that's just the third rail that's always been in the fight, that's always going to pull a few percentage points away from the potential win that we need to beat the cultural Marxists. So we don't have anyone really like taking the lead here, That's the problem, folks. Colorado Ballistics, will they split the GOP too much in the governor's race, especially if any of them run independent? Well, Greg Lopez is running independent. That is the problem. So whether Marx wins, whether Bottoms wins, whether Kirkmeyer wins, it doesn't really matter if Lopez is going to be on the general as an independent. Whether it's 2%, 5%, 10%, doesn't matter. We are screwed because we can't unify and understand that this cultural Marxist leftist has taken over our entire state. Open borders, NGO homeless fraud, and ending environmental and energy production here in Colorado using green energy and green scam new deals. These are the problems that we have to unify around. These are the issues that any candidate should be standing up against, whether it's Bottoms or Marx or Kirkmeyer. I mean, we have to really resonate together and get that message across the finish line. But there are people that just aren't doing it. Or they're doing it, but they're doing it in such a vanilla and basic way, and these people can't quite rally around a genuine person who knows how to talk, who knows what needs to be done, but sounds like vanilla ice cream. I love Bottoms. I do. I really do. He just and I think, a lot of people just don't get behind the religious stuff. Him being a pastor, and then you're going to see this. You're also going to see the Democrat media smear campaign attacking not just Scott Bottoms for being a pastor, but they're going to attack Victor Marx as well. And they're going to use the religious angle. They're going to use the religious lens to completely throw out easily 30 or more % of the Colorado vote, because on the simple fact that they're religiously inclined politicians. That in itself is going to probably kill either of their campaigns, regardless. Corey Kennedy says, the infighting is what kills the party. Debate seems to be a foreign concept. I agree. Democrats are salivating at the idea of Marx being the candidate. No, both of those I can't argue with either of those points, because having and I'll kind of wrap up. I'll kind of be landing the plane with this. I do think that that Greg Lopez is the larger issue at hand when it comes to the governor's race here in Colorado, because infighting is literally destroying the Republican Party from the inside, and then Greg Lopez is going to come in and just kick them to the curb. I don't know. There's a meme. The meme where someone's recording 3 people fighting, or it's the monkey knife fight, right? All 3 monkeys are sitting on the boat, right? this is what we're dealing with in Colorado for the gubernatorial race. But I want to just leave you. I want to end with this message, okay? Because I do think that Scott Bottoms is the right person for that is beamingly bright. Oh, that's why I'm getting a lens flare, because I have the sun reflecting behind me. Well, we'll just go like this then. We'll go like this. I do truly believe that no matter what, no matter who comes out to the top, the Democrats will use the Democrats will use the media smear campaign, the Democrat media propagandas like Kyle Clark, like Jesse Paul from the Colorado Sun. These individuals will break and fracture and do everything they can to throw all the flack and all the dirt on any candidate that wins. Barbara Kirkmeyer, terrible track record as a representative as far as the Liberty scorecard goes. Like I said, she's the bought and paid for gubernatorial politician. Scott Bottoms, vanilla milk toast. He's a vanilla plain Jane charismatic individual, but he's a smart individual. He understands the legislation process, and he understands what exactly Colorado needs. And I truly believe that messaging will resonate to a lot of Republicans, but will it resonate to a lot of independents? I don't know. Victor Marx has the charisma, has the X factor, but he has a lot of baggage. But he has a lot of bad history that got him to this position. He's made friends in very nefarious places. He's made friends in very questionable circumstances. His situation in Haiti, what Candace Owens brought up, a lot of his past has a lot of easy red meat for the Democrat machine to rip apart. And I've said this even before. Sometimes the biggest enemy is just allowing the machine to do its thing, right? Yeah. Sometimes Scott is vanilla bean, though. Yeah, no, you're right. It is good. And that's why I voted for him. I voted for Scott because I understand that he is principled and he makes it work. But you know what? I've been saying this since the beginning, that Victor Marx is the easier individual that the Democrats can destroy, because he has that questionable past. He has the questionable connections to the ministries in Haiti, to the gun running, to the various connections to TPUSA, how he got there, a lot of questionable behavior, which is exactly what the kind of candidate the Democrats would want, so that they can destroy him going into the general election. Scott Bottoms, he's got a track record in the legislative sessions. He knows what the governorship will take. The governor's seat will need to be done in Colorado. He's got a clean track record, and I highly doubt that the Democrats. The only thing the Democrats could throw Scott Bottoms at, they could attack him for, is his pastor and him being a very religious man, which I think Colorado really needs. Colorado does need some real religion. We need to return, and not just Colorado, the entire country. Everyone always gets conflated that our government was founded on the separation of church and state. Folks, a religious person has moral conviction, has moral standards, has moral presence. And a religious person has built their entire being around their morals and their values. And if they apply that to their political prospects, to how they govern, they will have a better moral compass and a better upbringing and a better standard of living and values based on their religious factor. The fact that most people aren't religious, it goes to show you the kind of decay that we are living with today. The fact that we have a less religious society, we have a less moral society, we have a less we can see the decay, right? Like, and I am a spiritual person. I have not extensively read scripture, but I've read a lot of it, and I've understood a lot of various religions. But I do believe that our nation needs a little bit of Jesus right now. Can I get an amen? You know, I'm not a pastor, but if you understand what if you understand what I'm talking about, I'm sure you get it in the chat. Let me know. But like, I'm not here for an overly, televangelist, the multimillionaire pastor in the huge mansion, send me some more money, please, for Jesus. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who holds their beliefs very close and who understands that their beliefs determines a better outlook in the world, in the future, that they have a direct impact in. That's what I want to see. And I think that Scott Bottoms is a great candidate for that. But folks, I am out. Like, I'm gonna should I keep my arm raised because it's so freak. Here, let's do this. Let's just turn the chair. We'll just turn the chair, and we're gonna have a little side. Well, I'm gonna side saddle this chair as we close out this live stream. But I do thank everyone being here. I do appreciate everyone in the chat. I saw a lot of new faces, so say hello, smash the thumbs up button, share this video with your friends and family because and obviously I think we're going to be talking more about this as we come into the midterms. More is going to come out, but I couldn't pass up the fact that Candace Owens, one of the people I hate the most, picked up all of the conversation regarding Victor Marx, and I still think that she didn't say anything new. I still think that everything that was talked about was relatively we were all relatively aware of, at least those that are in the political sphere here in Colorado. I think that we are all aware of this looming cloud that follows Victor Marx everywhere he goes, and I think Candace Owens just picked up on that because it's intimately tied with Turning Point and Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, and this it's a very weird connection in its entirety. But there will be more coming out of this. I do think that Victor Marx, Scott Bottoms, feud aside, I do think that we need unity. I do think that we need to rally together on common goals, common principles, common platform. We need to stand up and unite our different, maybe look past our differences as a voter base and really get someone behind not just a governor, but state representatives, state legislatures, all these different individuals that are smaller races. These smaller races can win the day. I really believe that if you get involved in your House district races, that's going to flip the Senate, or that's going to flip the House. That's going to flip the Senate. Doing that will handicap any governor, right? If you flip the House or flip the Senate, or at least get a little bit more conservative butts in seats, that's what's going to win. That's what's going to win the day. And I truly believe that is the fight that we should be focusing on, not necessarily the governor race. And I'll get into more of that next week. And I actually just dropped a video. You can check it out on my X account, or I posted it on YouTube. It's a short 4-minute video, and it was a clip from earlier this week's live streams, but talking about exactly that. The fact that our whole race here in Colorado, everything's up for grabs here. Every race is up for grabs. There's a few incumbents, but I do believe that if we rally around the right people, if we rally around the right messaging, we can flip some House seats. We can flip the Attorney General's race. We can flip the Secretary of State. We can get James Wiley as Secretary of State, and we can get some real election integrity. If we get election integrity, that's a bigger win than anybody's in the governor's seat. Let me know what you think in the comments on that. Let me know what you think in the chat on that, because I do think that is the real takeaway of this midterm election, is not necessarily the governor, but the other races. That's the real fight, folks. But yes, if this is the first time here, I encourage a share. I encourage a follow. We talk about all things politics, Colorado, all things Mile High, but I do some national news as well. But with that being said, folks, I wanna thank you for being here. I want to see if there's anyone else that we can raid on Rumble. If you are watching this on YouTube right now, we are going to be shifting gears. We're going to be finding someone to raid on Rumble. Let me see here if I can find anyone. Dr. Drew. Do you guys want to raid Dr. Drew, or do you guys want to raid? I think we can always do the default. We'll just do the default because I think you guys will appreciate that for what it's worth. Oh, that's still loud for some reason. It's fine. But we are going to be raiding the Beanie Compound as we do around 6 o'clock here. But yes, thank you all for being here. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's more to come here on Break the Chains Media. We're gonna be investigating a little bit more into the NGO fraud, into the homelessness fraud. We're going to be talking about some more things to do with the foster care system and this potential child trafficking and the foster care judges and the connections with that. I've got a lot of other things, a lot of pans in the fryer, so to speak. But I do thank everyone for being here. I appreciate everyone who showed up, who's actually about it and a part of it. So with that being said, thank you, Kurt Kennedy, for being here. Thank you, C's Pants, for being here. Corey Kennedy, I do appreciate you. Free State, Colorado. Everyone gets treasure chests. Sick of shitty government. We all get treasure chests because you guys are the treasure of my life. But without further ado, we are going over to Timcast IRL on Rumble. And if you're on YouTube, share, like, follow, do all the pretty things. But we will see you next time. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.